Hello followers and welcome back to Spellbound Caves for the final time this series. So yes, today is the day we're going to be doing a post-mortem of Spellbound Caves, and I'm going to discuss a little bit about my thoughts on the map, what I liked, and we'll revisit all the areas as we usually do to fully sign off this series. So as you can see, the Victory Monument is now complete for this series, completely from white to diamond block, and we're going to start by visiting the first areas, which is down there, the cenote. So I'm just going to come down here. Oh no, messed my... oh, it doesn't matter. Thought I was going to have messed my water up. So yeah, I've gone into creative mode so that we can fly around these different areas and make it a little easier on ourselves. But yeah, I just want to revisit this, all the areas in this map, and then truly sign it off. So if you remember correctly, we spawned right here on this little Mayan symbol, and there was a bunch of signs here which said, hey, welcome to Spellbound Caves, and it gave you all the rules, and there's a bunch of other signs around telling us directions and things about void fog and so on. And we had this starting area, and there was a little ruined building here that we moved into in the first episode. We got a farm set up, and we had obviously water and access to stone and all that stuff, and we got pretty well prepared, I would say. There was not a lot of wood, and this was something which I quite liked, but at the same time, with how the first dungeon ended up turning out, I didn't like. There was very little wood here. You had to manage very effectively, and unfortunately I don't think I did, because I wasted 2 sticks making a fishing rod, which we never used, and then I was out of wood, so I couldn't make any more tool handles. And unfortunately we had to go into the first dungeon here with very little tools. They were almost broken, and this dungeon was hard enough as it is, never mind being without fully repaired tools and stuff like that. But yeah, I liked the starting area overall. I really liked it. I liked the vines. It really added a nice effect to the place. It was a lot of fun, having to survive those initial steps, and everything was kind of here so you could get going quite fast, which led to the ideal opportunity to go into the first dungeon. So yeah, overall I like this area. There's nothing I would really change, I don't think. I like the fact that it was quite dangerous at night and you had to hide out in your little fortress and try and collect mob drops. I did that. That's something that I would recommend players do if you haven't got anything to do in the night. This building wasn't here. I built this later, and we'll get back to this when I've gone through the first dungeon. But yeah, overall I liked it. Not much more to say about that. Now this place, the first dungeon, this was incredibly hard, and I know exactly why it was hard. This place was hard because it was a max spawn situation. If you notice, all the way up on top of the map, up here, it is completely bedrock. There's no other things, it's just entirely bedrock. As you can see, right up here there is a bedrock ceiling. I believe it said on the sign down there that there is just a bedrock ceiling. Monsters don't spawn on bedrock, and that meant that all the spawns were forced into this area. And in the daytime there was very little space, with the glowstone being around, for the monsters to spawn. Only on this ledge and in that little cave down there. And when you're in this cave down there, you're out of spawning range of this ledge. So all the spawns in the area were being forced into this little cave, and it made it quite hectic, especially with the level of gear you had. And that is something which I think could be looked into. It's quite easily solvable. You just put some spawn space, just some empty rooms around this dungeon, just to try and help lift the amount of natural spawns here, because it made it very hard to progress. It was worse down here. This area, I thought that there might have been maybe 5 or 6 spawners. There was only 2 spawners in this particular area. So I was quite surprised at that, but the dungeon layout I really liked. It was a nice starting dungeon. I liked the mossy theme, sort of overgrown. I really liked that. You got access to potions there, an enchanter. But unfortunately I had to tunnel around this dungeon rather than do it properly, because of unfortunately, too many monsters. So that's something that could be looked into. Again, this made a great area for a grinder, which I was really happy about. Could make a small simple grinder here. And I gathered a bunch of cobblestone from that too. I'm not going to show you that, but grinder down there, and obviously the wool was right here. I liked that it wasn't too long, because dungeons like this you can easily make longer with more rooms and drag things out. I really like the fact that this dungeon was not dragged out. It was kind of, it was quite small, but it didn't seem it at the time. There was a lot of fighting to do, way more fighting than you're used to in vanilla Minecraft, so this is something which kind of gives you a real stern starting test, but I think it holds you in good stead for taking on the future dungeons. Having said that, because of the natural spawn problem that this place had, I don't think I got as challenged at all as hard as that for the rest of the map. I don't believe that there was any areas that were harder than that for the rest of the map, so maybe that's something that could be looked into in a future patch to this map when Vechs decides to put some new loot in it to keep it up to date and so on. Then maybe that's something that he could look at. So this area up the waterfall, the balcony over there and going through here, this was a lot of fun. I liked it. I really liked the vines. They added a lot of aesthetical effect to this place, and it gave better than just a pathway to the next intersection, because it would have been incredibly easy just to kind of to flunk it off and just at the end of the dungeon make a tunnel out of the fleecy box the other side, and there you go, intersection 1. I like that some time was put into making this path up here, and then eventually you were able to go through here, and there was a little like secret cavern, and then you could go through, and then eventually to the intersection. And this here provided a nice challenge. There was some good loot in there. If I remember, there was a stone tools and food, which at the time was really handy because it resupplied you, which was useful. So yeah, I like this area, and the overgrown little water channel right here until we came out to the intersection. And this is when we got to intersection 1, obviously the Victory Monument, the Blackened Library, and the Tenuous Crystals. Now, before we leave and go on to talk about the other areas, I will say that I did do a building project down there, the Cenote home. I really enjoyed that. I was given the resources in that double chest in the first dungeon to go ahead and build that. You don't have to build that. It's something I thought I would do for a series, because I don't usually do a lot of building projects, but I did do that, and I fortified the home. And at that point, once I fortified it, that area and the spawn was a lot safer, a lot safer than it had been prior to that. So yeah, that's that. That's everything really I can say about the Cenote. So the next dungeon we did was the Blackened Library. And I'm trying to keep this kind of fast paced because I've got a lot to get through and I don't want it to take forever. So yeah, the Blackened Library. Really like the layout of this place. If there was anything of this place I really liked, it was the layout. The whole rows of bookshelves, it was really well thought out. It could have easily been just loads of tunnels and corridors, just leading around with books on either side. The fact that there was a real design, which I picked up on, made this area a lot more aesthetically pleasing. And it was challenging. It wasn't as challenging as the first dungeon, but it did put you on edge being around these ledges, and spiders were a real threat, more than anything else. Spiders and skeletons, and even creepers to some degree, because they could blow up these very thin walkways, and you could be sent for a tumble. But thankfully I wasn't. I was quite lucky in that regard, and I really enjoyed this area. There was not a whole lot I could truly say about it, but he's been around for some time. He won't have despawned because he picked the cobble up. And obviously the first wall was right down at the bottom. There was a blaze spawner here, if I remember. Yeah, blaze spawner. So you were under threat, but I have to say, this buried in the lava, I liked it. I liked that. It was clear, it was easy to see, and I have to say I really liked the location of that wall. You kind of had to move around the library and descend all the way down until you could get there, and that was a lot of fun. Then there was another wall in this place. I forget which side it was at now, but there was another wall right here. Where are we? A bit further up maybe? Yeah, a bit further up, and that was through here. And it's always fun to get lost in a book. It was a maze area. What I liked about this area is that despite it being a maze, it wasn't too big. I find that some people kind of go a bit maze crazy, and they make mazes massive and horrible, and you can never find your way through them. But this, I really liked this. It was a short maze, something a bit different. There was some skeleton spawners, if I remember, quite easily combated using the different ledges and walls that we had to hide behind. I think I just seen one right there somewhere, or maybe it was my torch, not sure. But yeah, I really enjoyed this area. This was a different challenge which I was not expecting, I have to say. This was really well thought out in regards to that. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about the Blackened Library. So we'll fly on out of here. Now there's this gravel here, and I want to know what this is. There's a corridor here. Look at that. In their tongue, you are minor kin. Signborn. Insert epic chanting here. Oh my gosh. I knew that this was here. I'd seen it when I was watching some footage back, but I never went back to check it. And there was a ton of knockback 10 signs. Nice. I don't know what I would really use that for. Maybe bonking monsters off here. But other than that, I don't think I would have found it particularly useful. But yeah, that's all I can really say on the Blackened Library. It was a lot of fun. So we'll move on now to the Tenuous Crystals, which was the other area at intersection 1. And this area, in terms of aesthetics, was one of the best areas in the map. This and Rumbling Cavern, I would say, were the best areas. I love these crystals. There was a lot of aesthetical detail put into this area, and I know that it's something that some people don't like as they see the obvious brush strokes like this. Honestly, I didn't mind that. I did not see these, actually. When you're playing the map, you don't really see them. I certainly don't spend all my time looking at these different things and spotting where they all are, but I didn't notice them that much. I really like this area. There was a bit of a bug with the Enderman I would look at, where the Enderman can update these gravel blocks and make them fall. That's something that perhaps could be looked into, just preventing any areas where Enderman could spawn and take blocks would probably solve that, because you end up with scenarios like this. And I'm not sure if it was intended to try and suffocate the player that way, but I don't think it was, because it would be an extremely unlikely chance. Maybe just something to look at. But other than that, I really like this area. There was a lot of chests I never got in this area. Notably right here, coal 128. And there was another one up here as well that I never got, somewhere around here. Yeah, right here. And that is coal 128. So there was a bunch of coal here. I actually did go back with my rock bane, and I mined a bunch of coal out right here and got a bunch of drops. This area was quite an exciting and thrilling dungeon. I like the use of the ender crystals. It's not something that I often see used in maps anymore, because they're quite buggy, but this was really well thought out. I like and it kind of matched the name, the Tenuous Crystals. I got that after thinking about it for a while. The crystals are tenuous, they're fragile, you only have to hit them with an arrow and they blow up on you. I really like that, and this was my skeleton grinder right here, which is not the best grinder by any stretch of the imagination. It's not the best, but it did the job for what bit of enchanting I needed to do. And that kind of brings me on to a point which I'll discuss more at the University of Arcane Enchants, but I did like the use of enchanted items in this map, I have to say. But overall, I liked this area. It had some quite stunning aesthetics. There was the Enderman thing, which I would look at a bit later on, but nothing too much. This area was very well balanced, as was the Blackened Library. They were very well balanced. I like the fact that there were nether mobs here which you could fight, which gave it a bit different, bit of a different feel, because normally you don't access nether mobs until quite late, certainly in vanilla, so that was a new spin which I really liked. So overall, I really liked it. So moving on into section 2. See, that was a bit of gravel right there. Nothing. Just must be some gravel from inside the cavern, I think. So, into section 2. The Rumbling Cavern, the University of the Arcane Enchants, and the Grove of the Dark Willows. So we went to the University of Arcane Enchants first, because I wanted to see if I could get some enchanted items, and indeed we did. We got a lot of enchanted stuff here. This area, one of my favourite areas, I have to say. I liked the enchanted gear that was given here. The aesthetics were good. I don't think they were the same as the tenuous crystals, but it was good. This was rather unique. I've not seen this done before. Most buildings are kind of just square and a bit placid. I would suggest putting some decoration into this building, because this building is kind of a bit bland and a bit bare. I think at the time this map was built, there was not a whole lot you could do in terms of aesthetics. But now we have cobblestone walls, which we can use, the different ways you can place stairs, the slabs, all of that stuff. So I would kind of do a bit more with the walls of this building. But other than that, I have to say that this area I really liked. There was a lot of cool enchanted stuff here. I liked the whole university theme throughout the map, and this area really reflected that well. There's not a whole lot more I could say about it. It was balanced correctly. The loot that was given out was pretty awesome here. I know that there was an issue with the diamond sword. When I enchanted it, I got a crappy enchant, but other than that, I really did like this area, I have to say. I like the whole views that you can get over the different places until you go all the way up here into this little room with the wool in it. It was a nice challenge. It was a real feeling of progression in this area as you were working your way up the tower, which I really liked. So kudos to you on that one, Vechs. I really enjoyed it. So after that, this area, we actually did Fleeceception, which is down here. I'm just trying to think if I want to say anything else about it. Still experience orbs down here. I wonder how long these have been here. Must have been out of the loaded chunks area. I'm sorry, I just have to kill this guy, see if he's going to drop anything. No. Do I even have looting? I do. So yeah, overall I really like this area. We'll talk a bit about the Nether when we get back to that. But we did Fleeceception, which was through here. There's not a whole lot I can say about Fleeceception, honestly, because I wasn't here very long. I liked the troll dungeon type idea behind it. The huge fleecy box, I thought it was a lot of fun. It looks awesome. It really does look awesome. It was a real cool idea, and I'm glad that Vechs put it in the map. I like the idea that you can climb up this tower, I guess you could call it, within a fleecy box. Makes you feel like really small. Slime ball there, but but yeah, I did really like this area, I have to say. But I wasn't here very long. But yeah, I liked it. It was something different, and I thought that it was really neat. Not much more I can say about it, really. It's hard to say whether it was balanced or not, because there was no spawners, so I guess you could say it was balanced. I wouldn't make it any harder than what it was. I thought that this idea was more based on a troll type thing, which was funny. I really liked it. So after that, we went to the Grove of the Dark Willows, and then we did the Rumbling Cavern. But being as we're here, I'm going to just speak about the Nether area now. And I bet the blaze spawner... Oh, I thought the blaze spawner might be right there. I know I did leave one around. Right there. The Nether area, this place has to again be one of the most challenging places. Be quiet. There wasn't a whole lot here in the Nether, I have to say. Come on, gasty poos. Full of ghasts. But this place, due to recent patches, I felt was unbalanced. There were skeleton spawners here, which normally would have spawned normal skeletons, but they actually ended up spawning the wither skeletons, and I thought that these were a bit overpowered, unfortunately. But that's not necessarily the map maker's fault, that's just patches which caused this. So I can't I can't say that there was a whole lot wrong with it. These were really, really hard. This one especially. I don't even think I got all the spawners in this place, did I? No, there's still some left around here because this area was so hard. I really struggled with this one. That tower was not so bad. This one was fine. I think there was like 4 spawners around here somewhere. They were fine. This tower was fine. But cave spiders, wither skeletons all running in, blazers shooting at you. You were left with a lot to do. And I think I got blew out of the tower. There was creepers here as well. There was a lot going on here, and I think that this area was just a tad unbalanced, but that was because of patches. If it was normal skeletons, based off my knowledge of 1.0 and 1.2, I would say that this area was pretty fair, but it could use some work now with the recent updates. I would maybe lessen the amount of skeletons, spawners in this area, or completely remove them because of the wither skeletons, though we can set it up now so that it will only spawn normal skeletons. So maybe set it up so that it only spawns normal skeletons and lower the number of spawners down because of the rapid fire shooters now that we have. It can make it very hard to hit them. So that would be something that I would do with this area. Other than that, I really liked it. It had some nice aesthetics. I like these glowstone patches. I believe that Vechs used natural nether here and just kind of built onto it, which is what I really liked as well, because the natural nether's a nice place to build in. So overall, I'm happy with it. So good job on that one, Vechs. I think you did a good job. Just needs a few issues straightening out with the updated patches. So now at this point, we're going to head back to the remainder of intersection 2. And this was obviously the Grove of the Dark Willows, was the place that we visited after the University of the Arcane Enchants. And this area, I only spent 1 episode, I think, here, so I haven't got a whole lot to say about it. It was very, very well balanced. I did like this area. It had some nice aesthetics. The vines were very nice. I liked this puzzle where you had to figure out that you had to go up. That was something different, and that was something that I was really happy about. It was not your average run-of-the-mill kind of dungeon. It was something where you had to think rather than fight all the time. And I felt that this was a good addition. Overall, the area was balanced, but there were creepers here, and maybe if I wore iron armor and enchanted it, I would have been better off. But creepers with their 1.3 patch do a lot more damage now, particularly on the harder difficulties. So I would maybe lessen the creeper spawners in this area, because there was quite a few of them around, and there was a chest over here I never got. I said I would get it and I didn't. What was in it? Gold sander, Bane of Death. Oh, it's that sword. Yeah. Overall, I did like this area. It had some nice aesthetics to it. The 2 walls were very nice. I liked the willow theme, and how this tree was kind of overgrowing the wool. As I say, I think the creepers, now that they do more damage, could do with a bit of some balancing issues need working out. But then again, that could have been down to me trying to use leather armor in this area. Maybe Vechs meant for us to use iron, in which case then I can understand that, having an enchantment table and iron armor, particularly with a grinder as well. At that point, then maybe I would have found this area just a tad easier. But overall, I liked it. I thought it was very cool. It was kind of nice and open, whereas some areas in caves can feel quite claustrophobic. This one didn't feel so claustrophobic. This felt kind of nice and open, where you could do some nice open combat. And I like that aspect of it as well. So overall, I really like this area. Yeah, I didn't spend too long here, so I can't say too much about it, really. So now, where's the way out? I believe it's down here, isn't it? So let's continue on, and let's go to the Rumbling Cavern. So the Rumbling Cavern was, again, one of the better aesthetical areas in the map. I think it was probably joint best with the Tenuous Crystals. This area, I really liked this area. It was a bit tense at the time, but I do like that aspect. It was something different in gameplay, where it didn't necessarily rely on monsters all the time, but what it did rely on is the few natural spawns that were here, and the gravel. And this was a gameplay element area, and I really like the gameplay aspect to it. You know, they're trying to survive over the over the perilous drop, and I really like the tension that this area generated. It made for good video footage, climbing around on these gravel bridges. Creepers were a big threat. I like the ambient gameplay, where what I mean by that is that there were bombs and so on, which blew up parts of the side of the mountains, which kind of, it really added to the atmosphere. I really like that. So overall, I really like this area. Down here, it got a bit crazy, but at this point you would have had full iron armor. I think I was wearing full iron, so I didn't find it too much trouble. But as I say, I really did like this area, the whole climbing around the different gravel bridges, and trying to survive over the drop, which was really, really cool. I liked the different style of gameplay. And down here, I know what was down here. We had this ruined area with gas around the edge, and there was a bunch of monster spawners here. I remember that. I think there's still probably a bunch of them around, because I don't think I ever got any. There was blaze right there. There was quite a few blaze spawners in this area, I remember, and there was a couple of others which spawned quite crazy, but it was not impossible. It was challenging. Definitely the map in difficulty level stepped up quite a lot here compared to what we'd faced before. But yeah, overall I liked the area. The aesthetics were one of the best in the map, I would say. The gameplay felt balanced. I liked the gameplay elements of it, where you could climb around on the different bridges. I was a fan of that. Again, Enderman could prove to be a bit of an issue with picking up blocks, but I don't think there is any changes needed in this dungeon, personally. I don't think there needs to be any changes. So, onto the final intersection through here. Intersection 3. And one thing I do want to say is the lore in this area. Well, the lore in the map was very good. It was very well thought out. I really liked the lore in this area. Well, in the whole map, I would say I really liked the lore. It was very well thought out, and it's something that maps can sometimes find quite hard to achieve. I felt that the university theme fit the cave map style very well, and I was pretty happy with that. So yeah, kudos to Vechs on that one. He certainly knows how to make some good lore. So yeah, the final three areas were the Skittering Mine, the Rattlebone Crypts, and the Blackheart Citadel. And the first place I did at Intersection 3 was the Skittering Mines. Now this area, at the time, it may not have sounded like it, but I loved this area. I loved, again, the gameplay, the TNT sort of thing. This was a really, really nice area. I liked it. It wasn't maybe the most aesthetical area, but certainly what it didn't have in that, it made up for in gameplay. And I never activated these TNT levers. Blow the path up. This is why I didn't do it directly at that point. Still a bunch of TNT lying around, but yeah, I really like this area. The cave spiders, they were not particularly predominantly used before that, so at this point you were pretty well geared up to take on these guys, and I like the whole spider theme, and it was unique in the sense that most people think spiders and they use cobwebs, and there wasn't too many cobwebs. I don't think there was any here actually, and it was something different, and I liked the fact that you could get all your ores here, and it had some cool gameplay with it. And I would say that, yeah, I really like this area. May not seem like it at the time. I don't know why this TNT is randomly here, but there we go. I mean, I kind of did this quite fast. But yeah, small and got to the point, which is what I liked. It was small, but it did get to the point. And it was kind of like short but very, very hostile, which is a different type of play style to what we've been facing in some of the previous areas. You know, the second intersection felt very much about progression. This area kind of made it where you were rushed and you had to think on your feet quite quickly in comparison to some of the other areas. So then we did the Rattlebone Crypts, and this was perhaps, I would say this was one of my most favourite areas. My most favourite area was the Blackheart Citadel, but this one definitely was one of my, probably my second favourite. I loved the challenging gameplay in this area. The fact that you had to run through this place and just check all the crypts for the wool. This was unique. I really liked this kind of play style. Made you use speed potions. I really enjoyed this gameplay style. Very nicely designed towers. Very aesthetically pleasing. It kept you on your toes. This area wasn't too big. You didn't have to search a lot of crypts, but there was enough here to make it just about the right length. And I thought that the loot was given out here that was quite balanced. I know some people moan that this area was not very well balanced. I disagree. I think with the gear I had at the time, which I think was only oh, I did have diamond at that point. I think some people did this area first to get to the shortcut, in which case I could understand. But with a speed potion, you can outrun anything that's in here. I don't think there is any work really needed to be done. I would say the same thing about the skittering mines. If you have a speed potion, you can easily outrun anything in here, and you just have to check through the crypts. Obviously 1.4 had a bug where you couldn't sprint upstairs. Now you can in 1.5. So this will make this area even easier than what it used to be, which is something that I am really happy about overall. So yeah, I really like this area. The gameplay was quite unique. It was unlike anything else in the map. It didn't feel like it was repeating itself, which is something I can say about the whole map. It didn't repeat itself. It was easy as a cave map that you could just make it repeat itself. But thankfully it didn't. It felt unique, and I really liked it. It was a different style of gameplay. And finally, the Black Heart Citadel. So, the last area. This place, I would say that this was my most favourite area in the map. Definitely. I don't know what this dirt was all about. I really don't know what this dirt is about. Maybe it was copy-pasted from something which had dirt in it, I'm not sure. But yeah, I really like this area. What did this even have on it? Enchanted diamond armor. Nice. But yeah, I like the little traps and sneaky stuff over there. I really like that. Now this area as a whole, I love this place. It was almost like a giant playground where you could just use all the stuff you'd got. At this point you had enchanted diamond gear, you had everything that you needed to just completely demolish this place. And it was still very rapid gameplay. There was a lot to think about and a lot to do, but at the same time it didn't feel overpowered. Most monsters died in 2 hits. There was a lot of monsters here, but I think it was quite cool in the sense that you could just beat them up very easily. I really like the idea behind that. The TNT, again, very well planned. I liked how you travelled around all the different buildings and went up and around. It was just like different to a direct path, which is something I really liked. Again, about this area, I love the use of the crystals here above the gas spawners, making them easy to destroy. I like the fact that you could break your spawners very quickly with a pick. But at the same time, it was still challenging. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I got lucky. When going up here, I happened to fall in lava, which saved me when I had feather boots on. I was very lucky in that sense, but it was hard, it was challenging, but it was balanced and it was fair for what loot you did have. And I think this area, there was a lot of skeletons here, and the rapid fire skeletons, this is where the spawners were. I thought that they were encased in obsidian. I don't think they were. I think that this area could do with a few less skeletons on it with the rapid firing now. Again, this is something that's kind of just been balked with the update. But I felt that this area did have just a few too many skeletons. I got knocked off here and I ended up having to tunnel to it. I'm not sure if that's what Vechs intended us to do. But yeah, overall, I really like this. The climbing up of the path right here and into this Black Heart, I really liked. It was something different, climbing, which we'd not done before. And the aesthetics in this area were very good. I thought that the Black Heart was well designed. I like the aesthetics here. So obviously the red wall was down there. Again, this was quite, I wouldn't say easy, but because the bedrock fog made it hard to see. But I really like this area, again, right here. Creepers and blazers, very unique in the sense that it used the void fog in order to combat the monsters. Doesn't look half as bad now with no void fog on, but when you had void fog in here you could not see anything. I thought this was just glass, and there was nothing to it, but this area, yeah, definitely one of my favourite areas. I like the different style of gameplay which it brought about. So that is everything really. Notable things I liked about this map is that it never felt like it was repeating itself. The gameplay was unique in each area. There was not much overlap in terms of that. The lore behind it, the university idea, I really liked that as well. Something else that was very well done. I felt that the map as a whole was balanced. There are a couple of things that could be worked out and improved on because of how patches have gone in the game. But overall, I really enjoyed this map. I would recommend it to anybody who's looking to get into CTM maps more actively. I think that this one is a bit too challenging for a brand new player. I would recommend something along the lines of probably Sunburn Islands or Sea of Flame. But I apparently have heard that Sunburn Islands, and I've actually played Sunburn Islands, it's not the same as it used to be. But this map, definitely a good one for any CTMer who wants to try out this genre in a cool, up-to-date map, which uses the new mechanics effectively that's in the game now. I can see that this being updated in the future with some custom mobs, and I can see this really taking itself into a whole new level, I think. But so far, in this version, fantastic map overall. Lots of good things. Couple of things, as I said, that need working out, but not much other than that, really. So we'll just head back to the Victory Monument now. So I thank Vechs for making this map, and I thank you all for watching this series. I hope that you've had fun. I hope that you will continue to watch my map series. I am recording a new CTM. It is by Vechs, and I'm not going to reveal which one it is yet, but it's a challenging one, and I will say that it's not Nightmare Realm. It's not that one, so I don't think I have much desire to play that one right now. But yeah, as I say, thanks for sticking with me through the series, guys. I know that Spellbound Caves has been done quite a lot on hardcore by different people, so I thank you for sticking with me, and I hope to see you in the next series. We will be playing on 1.5, and it is on normal difficulty, no longer hardcore, because of how mobs have gone in 1.5. They've been made really challenging. So yeah, that's about it, guys. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series, and I hope to see you in the next map. So until then, guys, see you later, and have a good day.